without our rich history of immigration.
This country, and every country in general, if it cannot maintain a consistent population via its own native citizens, then it should not be a country. And there must be a deep-seated issue with the country's policies or beliefs or standards if it cannot maintain a consistent population. What is happening is women, when you give them choices, they want to be picky. They want to be super picky. And the liberal society is like, yeah, we acknowledge women are very picky and they won't reproduce that much with their choices. So they take people from non-liberal countries, which is an admission that they're wrong. They take people from non-liberal countries, they bring them over, and they have them enact societal policies within their households, within their isolated communities, that force the woman into, dating this guy or getting with this guy, where she wouldn't in a normal Western culture, where she would not do that in a normal culture like ours. And because of women having all this power, they've gotten really picky, and they know that foreign women will do as the men say, and if the father, or if the brother, or if the family says, you are marrying this man, you are having children with this man, then at the end of the day she will, because that's how these cultures work, and that's why they reproduce more than the US. If you have a fish tank, you have a container, a glass container, filled with fish, you are trying to breed guppies, right? And you cannot get them to breed. Is it because they are getting preyed on by other fish? Is it because you're not feeding them enough? Is it because there's too much pH? Is it because there's too much, nitrate in the water? Is it because there's not enough space? Is it because there's not enough hiding places? There's always a reason for why a population cannot maintain a stable amount of growth. And the Western culture, the Western society, cannot give the reason. The status quo will not give the reason for why the reproduction rates are so low among the native population. They will not give a reason why the native Western woman will not reproduce as much as the foreign darker skin populations of, say, India, of, say, the Iraqi populations, of, say, the more darker skinned African populations. They will not give the reason, because the reason is an admission of their fault, an admission of their wrong. They bring over non-liberal, woman-controlled male-controlled societies, because the woman-controlled, woman-worshipped Western world does not produce birth rates. They produce death, they produce suicide, they produce dysfunction. If you're trying to breed dogs and all your dogs refuse to breed and they kill themselves, I'd say that's a pretty failed operation. You're trying to breed shrimp. They all kill themselves and they refuse to breed. I'd say that's a failed operation. So, in any other case, even if you have plants, you're trying to breed tomatoes. You have a tomato farm. Your operation is to breed tomatoes. Those tomatoes don't breed, they die out. You have failed. That is the case there. In no other case can you fail and fail and fail and fail as a media, as a country, as a government. You fail to get your population increased, you fail to increase GDP, you fail to increase the general income bracket of your society. In any other case, if you're a management and you're managing a population of anything, and you're trying to get it to grow and to be more successful, in any case like that, where you're operating under the confines of anything, if you're trying to, grow cattle, maybe if you're trying to grow them for beef, even in that case, you would want a stable population to sell for food. But even in that case, that would be considered a failure. If your cattle aren't breeding, they're refusing to breed, and they're not eating, they're killing themselves, that would be considered a failed population. That would be considered failed management, bad management. But these governments who act out for their own interest, they essentially do a worse job than most people do if they're animals, and they're considered successful. It's a fucking joke. It is a joke.